Hello, my name is Andrew Maisie. I'm a Methodist local preacher here in the UK, and I have been for over 28 years. Sunday on Sunday, I am planned to go and attend worship at different Methodist churches in this part of the country, and what that means is the selection of the ingredients for that service, so the hymns, the prayers, and particularly looking at the Bible reading that is set for that Sunday. Those Bible readings are taken from what is called the Revised Common Lectionary. So I've been doing that for a long time, and tomorrow is the 800th time that I'll have gone to a fellowship and led a service of worship. So what's the purpose of these videos that I hope to capture? Well, there's all sorts of difficulties with capturing on video a live act of worship, and you could question how useful that is. So what I've decided to do instead, though, is to try and record on video immediately after those acts of worship. So I'll take this camera with me, either on the motorbike or in the car, however I'm travelling, and record at a high level what I've learned about the Bible reading and how relevant that is for today, and what the implications are for those of us who call ourselves Christians. You'll find throughout all of these different recordings and reflections a common thread, which is of course my own personal interpretation, my own theology of what it means to be in relationship with God. It's based on some very sound and unmovable understandings of God's love, which I believe is for all people. There are no barriers, there are no divisions, there is nobody who has not been either created by God or is deeply loved by God. Now, for me personally, to come into an understanding of how loved I am by the God who made all things has been truly a life-changing event, and set me on that path 28 years ago and more, to start training as a preacher with the simple idea that it was so important to communicate to people wherever they would listen that this relationship with God is coming home. It is what we were meant to be. When we use words like freedom and love and joy and peace, of course people will perhaps imagine that that means a panacea or a lifestyle free from pain and suffering and doubt. Well, it doesn't mean any of those things, of course, because life is life and we live in a physical world. But to understand, to really know that the God who made all things loves you, holds you always in his strong and loving arms, and is always there for you, is a message that is just too good to keep inside the four walls of a chapel on a Sunday morning. Hence these videos. The founder of the Methodist movement, John Wesley, once famously said that all the world was his parish, by which he meant there were exactly no barriers, that God's love is universal. We talk a lot in Methodism of grace, and the concept that God comes to us before we even know it, before we even understand our need for it. There is God's love on offer. So as we unpack week by week what the set readings from the New Testament are about, what they really mean in terms of the different translations, and going back to the Greek and trying to get an understanding of what the author of each book is trying to communicate, I hope that some of the input to those services will come across, and that they'll be of use to somebody anywhere. John Wesley would have loved the internet for its capability of being all the world his parish. We'll see how it goes.